Howdy, y'all. Heading out to, well, what used to be the mountain garden. We didn't do nothing with it this year, so it got real weedy. Most of the goldenrod and a lot of morning glory, a lot of thistles, a lot of burdock. It all came back. This was all wild. All this land here was all wild from about where it goes brown to green there, where my actual yard starts, all the way out to the farmer's field. This was all rubbish when we first moved in about 10 years ago. We've been reclaiming this land because it's ours, and we've been trying to tame it somewhat, and did a mound garden here. This is it was a traditional Iroquois style mound garden. Y'all know that I'm a big fan of history, special local history, so this is how the Native Americans in this area would have farmed this land before Europeans came along and we started doing rows and in our style. And I think there was about 22 or 32, I can't remember, mounds in there, 18-inch round, 4-foot spacing on center. But I did some short videos on it that I'm sure y'all might have already seen on this arugula right here. This is all, here, let me flip y'all around. This is arugula that's going to seed. Arugula is a biennial, so it has to overwinter to go to seed. I was taking the mounds and I was planting them in a pretty traditional method, the way the Iroquois would, and corn, bean, and squash, things like that. But also kind of putting my own spin on it. I was doing cover cropping it with salad greens, so until the squash got big enough to make a nice green canopy, a green mulch, if you will, over the soil and shade it out. I put a lot of lettuce greens, Swiss chard, lettuce, haven't drawn a blank here, arugula, and romaine. And here's the Swiss chard I harvested. So Swiss chard and arugula are both biennials, so they have to overwinter to set seed the following year. So we are harvesting from them. And then we also got our hazelnuts. They're doing good. I believe this is their 3rd year. And we let the milkweed go. I'm okay with milkweed. It's the rest of them I got to get out of here. We have lots of monarch butterflies around here because of the milkweed. It's one of their favorite foods, and they love to lay their cocoons and things in there. So, or their larvae, excuse me, and mount their cocoons on it. So we've been encouraging them. They're a good predator. They eat a lot of bad bugs that we don't want in these gardens. And got another American hazelnut here. But things like this here, thistle, taller than I am, which ain't hard to do. But the thing is nasty. But what I wanted to really show y'all, we got another hazelnut here. They have a 6-foot spacing. I had one that's supposed to be right up in here, but he died. But what I'm really excited about is my experimental planting method I did the other year. Another hazelnut here. We've been experimenting with doing wild strawberry rings around it. So as we dig up strawberries from other parts of the gardens and yard, because these are just a variety we found here, we've been planting them around our fruit and nut trees we've been putting in. But my experimental planting method the other year was one of the first shorts I ever did anything on, was me just whipping garlic seed at this garden. I believe it was either last spring or the fall before, so either fall of 22 or spring of 23. And I didn't plant no hardneck this year. In our big main garden, I did all softneck, but because I serve a good God who loves me even though I don't deserve it and provides for me, oh my gosh, this ground is hard. Surprised this garlic did anything. He said, "You need more garlic, son. Gotta keep them vampires at bay." So what we got here, I'm trying to get out, wearing Crocs like a dingus, is some hardneck garlic. And even though we didn't do nothing, we didn't pull the scapes, didn't do nothing, He's still got some pretty beautiful heads of garlic here. Because my God is good. He provides. Wow, this just blows my mind. Look at, there's the scapes. Never pulled them. Common practice is to pull them to put more energy back into the bulbs to get bigger bulbs, but I'd say these are some big, beautiful bulbs regardless. And I had found some other ones over here. Like I said, another hazelnut. And then I had two over in here die. This is a very messy, weedy, nasty garden, but a garden just the same. Look at all this other hardneck I found hanging out in here. This was all literally me just taking handfuls of garlic seed and just throwing it at this garden. Didn't do nothing else. Another little thing I'll show you before I head out of here. So the wife just gave me the thumbs up that dinner's done. Is around the perimeter. We're up on a little hill here. Not much of a hill, but as you can see, we live in flatland right off the southern shore of Lake Ontario. It's all flat throughout here. Not perfectly flat, nothing is, but it's pretty darn flat. But we're up on a little hill here since it's all planted with hazelnut trees. Look at this one doing lovely. This one has more strawberries underneath it than most of them. I put them a little too close in hindsight. They're gonna have to get dug up probably this fall or more than likely next spring and moved out closer to the perimeter with this ditch here. But we want to do strawberry rings around all these hazelnuts. But on the other side of our path that wraps around Hazel Hill, so we just walked around the edge of Hazel Hill here, we have beautiful horseradish, also in its third year, which means we'll be able to dig it up and harvest it and make us some horseradish from it. And in between each one, I don't think I got one here, are thornless blackberries that we put in. Blackberries are a primocane, so they put out fruit on second year growth. So we got new shoots. These are new shoots here. These are first years, so these are primocanes this year. They'll be floricanes next year. They'll put on fruit, but got some beautiful blackberries coming in on here. These things get massive and they are delicious. And even though I've literally, not done much with this garden at all besides trying to keep this path managed and try to manage around my hazelnuts because they were quite an investment. We're going to be doing some extra work to clear this out. We're going to be redoing all the mounds and stuff in the future, but I'm just blown away by even something I've put little to no energy in this year. It's still providing food for me and my family. God is still providing food for me and my family because he is good to me, even when I don't deserve it. So, I hope that's just a little testimony of the Lord and his grace and the abundance that he pours out. And I hope maybe this inspires somebody to make their own weedy garden. Hope y'all have a blessed evening. And hope you grow something. If not this year, next year. Plan it out. Think it out. Don't be afraid to get in there and do it. Take care, y'all.